Hi guys, it's Dev again. I thought I would film my dinner making tonight, and I apologize in advance. You can probably hear the rain on my metal roof. I'm out here in the garage, and there's no insulation up on the roof, or up in the ceiling, so it's pretty loud, so I apologize. But my son loves just a very simple macaroni and cheese, and that's what we're gonna have tonight. I have the Simple Truth organic, that's from Kroger, and this is basically organic Velveeta shells and cheese, which, you know, I'm not supposed to say that, I'm sure, but it's very much like Velveeta shells and cheese, which I love quite a bit, and I haven't eaten in years because, well, it wasn't organic, so I'm really glad that they came out with this. And then he likes to have peas with it too. So I thought I would use my Apex solar generator to make it. And it only has like 71% left on it, so we'll see how much I have left when I'm done. But if you can see here, this amount of water is not near as much as they tell you to use. Like, you're supposed to use a ton more water than this, but I find that if you are really paying close attention to it and stirring it, you don't need very much water to make this macaroni and cheese. I'm not even sure how much it tells you to use. Where are we here? Yeah, 5 to 6 cups, no way. I have like 2.5 cups in there. And believe me, it's fine. I've done this for a long time. I don't normally cook out here on my electric burner, and if you saw any of my other videos, you'll know that I'm not really used to cooking on electric, so this is always a challenge for me, but I'm learning. I much prefer using gas, but that's okay. So here we are, 72%. That should be plenty. And to just boil the water, to get it boiling, I'm going to go ahead and turn it all the way up on 5. And that little indicator light came on. This is a 1,000-watt burner, and so hopefully it won't take too awfully long. But you can see it's already pulling 986, 981, 973, 70. So yeah. It's a 1,000-watt burner, so it's going to pull that for the duration that it's on. So it'll stay on for a little while, and it'll get up to heat, and then it'll turn off, and it won't be drawing hardly anything on the Apex. And then it'll turn back on, and it'll be drawing almost 1,000 watts every time it turns on. And so just to help it along, get it hot faster, I'll put the lid on it. And I will get back to you once it starts boiling, and that's when I will add the pasta. Alright, see you in a minute. Alright guys, I'm getting a little worried. My Apex may not be able to cook this little dinner. I'm already down to 43%, 42, and the water's not even boiling. So I may have to unplug it from the Apex and plug it into the wall to finish this dinner. I'm not sure. But the reason why I didn't add any salt in the beginning, I know the salt helps it along, and it will also make it boil faster. But if you put salt in the water too quickly, it can pit your cookware, whether you're using stainless steel or this is like a ceramic coated pan. It can pit it if you add the salt when the water's not warm and it's just kind of sitting there on the bottom of your pan. It will actually harm your pans. So I always make sure that my water is at least hot. It's not boiling yet, but it's hot now. And so now I can add my salt, and I use like this is a natural mangrove salt. I normally use Himalayan pink salt for everything, like especially when I'm just putting it seasoning my dinner at the end, but the Himalayan pink salt actually has a lot of minerals that can leave even more pitting deposits, and so I use this salt, which I also use this salt to make my salt water to brush my teeth, because the Himalayan pink salt can leave iron deposits on your teeth, and you really don't want that. So I always have a really good high quality sea salt or mangrove salt. This is the whitest one I could find, and that's what I use. I think it comes from South America, maybe. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of that. Let me set you down here. But right when you add it, you need to make sure that you're going to stir it right away, because you really want that to dissolve right away. You don't want it to sit in there and hit your cookware. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but if you ever see these little tiny pits or grooves in the bottom of your pan after you've made spaghetti and you put salt in the water right away and brought it to a boil, that's because it's pitting it. You have to let the water get hot so that it dissolves that salt right away. And now, of course, because the salt's in there, it will come to a boil a lot faster. So I'll put the lid back on it. It's all dissolved now. Uh-oh, there's a little fly in here. Or a mosquito. I don't know what that was, but it's dead now. Okay. So this is my mac and cheese. Like I said, I cheat and I buy this stuff. It's really good though. This is the white cheddar, but they also have just the regular orange cheddar, which is what you're used to for Velveeta shells and cheese. And I like it because it's a cheater. You don't have to add milk or, you know, butter and all that other stuff that you normally have to do with macaroni and cheese. It's just this packet of already made cheese sauce, and I just squish it to the bottom as much as I can. Of course, I'm not going to need this for a while, but that's what I do. And if it's cold, like in winter, it gets really cold, and sometimes I just sit it on top of the pan while the water's coming to a boil, just to make this nice and warm. And so it comes out of the foil packet a lot easier when it's warm. So sometimes I just do that. So yeah, hopefully this will come to a boil soon. I'm at 39%. I really don't think the Apex can handle this. I wasn't even at 100%, so like I said, maybe I'm gonna have to unplug it and plug it into a wall here, since I'm in here in my garage and I can do that. If I couldn't, I'd be kind of screwed. I would just really need my propane or my butane at that point. But I'm just experimenting here to see exactly what the Apex can do, so we will see. Alright, hold on. Alright, so it has been 30 minutes. It took 30 minutes for this to become a rolling boil. And my Apex is down to 29%, which is really worrisome. It's jumping around, 29, 30, 29. But that took 30 minutes. I can bring this water to a boil in 10 minutes on a gas stove. So I'm really, really, really disliking this electric burner right now. I've been cooking on gas for as long as I can remember, and that's what I prefer. I remember cooking on electric at one point and remember hating it, and I guess that's why. Because it keeps cycling on and off, and it takes forever. So it is what it is, and I'm going to keep going. I'm probably going to have to plug the Apex in. I've got the charger sitting over here. I don't know if you can see that or not. I can do pass-through charging, and so I think I might just plug this in if it starts getting too low. But for now, I'm just going with the flow here, seeing how much I can get out of this. If I started at 100%, I'm sure I could finish this, but I did not. And this is plenty of water. Like I said, you don't need that actual 5 to 6 cups. You don't really need that. But you do have to pay attention, and you have to be vigilant. And right after you pour it in, don't just walk away from it. You have to stir it right away. You don't want that pasta to just sit there and stick on the bottom. And so you stir it right away and then put the lid back on it, and that will help it come back up to a boil. But don't walk away from it. You have to just keep stirring it, because that pasta is going to want to stick there on the bottom. It's just going to want to stay there. And so the only way you can get away with using this little amount of water is to just keep a really good eye on it. And these are my peas. And what I'm going to do to make this like a one pot dish is drain off the fluid from the peas, and then I'll add them in here when the pasta is almost done. And this is my safety can opener. I know I've showed that in another video when I was making the Instant Pot caramel milk, the caramel of that J or whatever. And so I start right after the barcode so that I know where I'm supposed to end up, because you're only supposed to need to make one revolution around there. And so I always start right here, and then when I get all the way around here, I know I should be done, and I should hear it pop open. I really love these because it doesn't leave a sharp edge. I really, really love them. Okay, so I just passed that point. So you back it up, and then you go to the opposite side. So I started at the barcode, and so to pry it off, I'll pry it off from the other side, and there's a little lever on here that, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it grabs it. When you push that little button, this little jaw clamps down, and so you come over here and you grab the opposite side of where you started, and you just pull it backwards on itself. And I don't want all the liquid from that, so I'm going to drain it. This is the cup I use to eat my cereal in every day. And I just wash it out with a paper towel and alcohol when I'm done every morning. And I'm making a mess over here. But that pea liquid is in here, and I'm saving it because once this mac and cheese is done, it actually starts to thicken up, and I need to thin it down a little bit. So I just save the juice from the peas to thin that down a little bit. Let me grab a paper towel. Because I'm making a mess over here. Alright. Like I said, just keep an eye on it. And keep stirring it. I'm at 25% on the Apex. So if it gets too much lower, I'm going to plug it in to the wall and do pass-through charging, because I don't want to take it down too awfully far. I know you can take it down to 0, but I don't really feel comfortable doing that, so I'll probably plug it in here pretty soon. And if it took 30 minutes just to boil the water, I can't imagine how long this is going to take to get the pasta done. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not real happy. I'd rather be cooking on a gas stove right now. Alright, see you in a minute then. Or, well, however long it takes me. Alright, so it has been 20 minutes, and this is boiling away. I'm not sure it's done. It should not have taken 20 minutes. That's all I know. So I'm gonna try to take one of it. I'm gonna try to test one of these guys. I am at 18% on the Apex, which is not good. I'm running out of juice and I don't like it. Ow. Yeah, that's good. That's al dente. So now I can just add this can of peas because this is already at room temperature and I just really want to warm them up a little bit. So we'll add those just very briefly and then I'll drain the water and then I'll put the cheese in there. So I should be okay. I'm at 16% on the Apex, so it looks like I'm going to drain it almost all the way, but it's a lithium battery, so it can handle that. I just don't want to, I don't really want to do that to my lithium battery because it will shorten the lifespan if I do that. So let me show you. This is what it looks like. There's plenty of water in here. I totally did not need 5 to 6 cups of water. What I did was just kept stirring it every couple minutes and it works fine. And so I'm not wasting all that extra water. I don't need to waste it, especially if I'm going to be doing the nomad thing. I don't like to waste water anyways. So when that's done, I'm going to drain it and then I will add my little packet of cheese. So this won't take long. And that is totally done right now. Actually, I think I'm just going to drain it now. Let me set you down. Sorry again about the rain noise. It's raining pretty good here. Springtime in Indiana. That's what you get. Oh, by the way, I still have this on 5. I've had it on 5 the whole time. Probably gonna make a mess. I hope not. This isn't big enough for all this pasta, but I can at least drain off most of the water. I don't have to dump it all in there because I do want some of that water left. Because once you add this, it's actually really thick and it can use a little bit of thinning down. So I don't worry about draining all the water. Whoa, I'm making a mess. Whoops. Alright. I'm a messy cook, but I clean up after myself, so it's alright. And that's still on 5, so I'm going to turn it down right now because I don't need that on right now. Maybe down to 2. And then, like I said, I just push this all the way down as far as I can. And these are my knives that I bought for the road. They're Wusthof. It's a really nice set. And it's got these scissors in it. And they're take-apart scissors, so they're really easily cleanable. I'm sorry, you may not even be able to hear me with all that rain going on. So I just try to get it as close to the top as I can. And then I just start pushing it out. And I don't like to waste any of it, so I'm really diligent about getting it all out. Ugh, it looks really gross. But it tastes good, so that's alright. So I take it and I fold it in half. And I just push out as much as I can. And then I fold it like in fourths. And again, I start from the top. And I just push out as much as I can. You'd be amazed at how much is in there, actually. And I don't let anything go to waste, so it's all in there. And then I just start stirring it in. And if I haven't left enough water in it, I have to thin it down. Like I said, that's why I save the water from the peas. You can also just add milk if you want it to be more creamy. Sometimes I just add milk or half and half, but it's usually creamy enough. And it melts very quickly. My Apex is at 17%. So yeah, I was able to do it. I had 71% on the battery when I started. I'm down to 17% now. So I can do this, but honestly, I just don't want to do this very often at night. I think I'm going to want to try to, anytime I have to use my burner or my Instant Pot on the Apex, I think I'm going to want to just do it during the day when I have pass-through solar charging. Okay, let me show you. It's done now. It's all melted and creamy and wonderful, but if you let it set, it will start hardening up, and that's when you need to start adding some extra liquid back to it. Of course, it's going to want to stick. But that's it. And so I will just throw a big 2 or 3 scoops, or 4 or 5, into a bowl for my son, because he's, you know, he's 18 and he's got a big appetite. So he'll eat half of this at least, just by himself. But yeah, it's already starting to look a little bit dry for me, because I know that once it starts cooling down, it's going to start thickening up. So more than likely, I'm going to start adding some of this water that came from the peas. See, I made a mess. Oh, I can't stand it. But at least I clean up after myself, you know. That's all that counts, I guess. And a stray pea there. Alright, that's it, guys. That's my easy mac and cheese on my Apex. And what do we have here? 16% left, so yeah. Hopefully the sun will be shining tomorrow. I'd like to charge up my Apex with my solar panel. I have a Inergy 100-watt solar panel that I haven't been able to use yet because it's been winter time. So we'll see if I can use it tomorrow or the next day. Alright. I will talk to you later then. Have a good night.